President Trump earlier today addressing the heads of Latin American nations at the first summit of the Shield of the Americas. He announced a new military coalition aimed to go after those cartels he was talking about. Former acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey joins me now. So give us the nuts and bolts of what this new organization is all about, Jonathan.
Well, it seems to be a coordinated effort between the United States and all these countries to really take it to the cartels. And I think we saw some of this in Mexico recently when they're taking out a cartel leader. But I think what's really important to all of this is President Trump is telling these countries, we have your back and we'll work together, because so many of them were controlled by the cartels, either partly or mostly. And he's telling them, one, we've got your back. And also, you don't want to be on the side of the cartels. They've all seen what happened in Venezuela, and they don't want that to be them or their country. So this is so important to get these countries together, start taking it to the cartels. And a number of things that President Trump has already done that have really hurt the cartels. The main thing is shutting down our southern border, because they were making so much money hand over fist, bringing drugs, human trafficking, which is almost totally stopped across our border. So we got to go after the money, which we're doing a great job, but also they're going to have to go after them militarily, because these cartels have gotten so strong. But again, President Trump is taking it to them, not waiting for them to come to us. And I think this could really be a great benefit for the entire region, because none of these countries are better off if they're under control of drug cartels or organized crime or anything similar to that. So everyone really benefits, the region, the United States, and all of these countries as well.
I want to put up a graphic of the narcotics trafficking flows in Mexico. It shows the areas of control of the various cartels, and virtually the entirety of the country is covered by some kind of cartel violence or, shipment points. It's virtually impossible to find a part of Mexico that hasn't been touched by their violence and their corruption.
It's really amazing looking at that graphic. And if you think about these cartels, the aggregate amount of business they were doing per year is something around $40 billion. So these are massive. They would be like a massive corporation, and they have so much power. And unfortunately, until President Trump came into office, the United States was really viewed as, really inept and weak in dealing with them. And in many respects, they controlled our southern borders during the previous 4 years. So, what President Trump is doing is taking it to him on the money, and we got to take it to him militarily. And hopefully Mexico is on board or getting on board, because once we get them under control, it's going to be, again, safer, but also more prosperous for the entire region.
I was surprised, frankly, when the Mexican army took out that cartel leader in Puerto Vallarta about a week, 10 days ago. Did that surprise you? And does it show that the Mexican government is getting serious about cracking down on the cartels?
Yes, it surprised me sort of at the moment, but I think the Mexican government is really at a tough position, because if they stay on the side of the cartels, they're on the wrong side of the United States and President Trump. And as we've seen in Venezuela, and also we're seeing in Iran, President Trump really is not playing around, and we're going to deal with this one way or another. So I think in many respects, they chose the lesser of the two options, is be on the side of the President Trump, or at least somewhat, and against these cartels. But hopefully that wasn't just a one-time symbolic thing and going back to business as usual. And I don't think it will be, but we'll see. Time will only tell.
Kristi Noem, the former Department of Homeland Security Secretary, is going to be running the Shield of Americas on the American side. Here's what she had to say about what lies ahead.
The first objective will be not just on sovereignty, but also migration control, that we will work on economic prosperity. We'll have and reverse these harmful foreign influences that have come into many of our businesses, our technologies, and we've seen infiltrate different areas of our way of life. We'll work together to continue to make sure that our relationship is a shield to the Americas, that this will be a Western Hemisphere that is better, safer, more prosperous, and more free because of the leadership that all of you provide.
I should have referred to her as outgoing, not former, because she still is in the job. But what do you think about what she has to say there?
Yeah, I think essentially what she's saying is the United States, the Western Hemisphere is ours. We're going to protect it. We're going to take care of it. And we're going to protect it mainly from China, I think is what she's saying. But also, we benefit when these countries in our hemisphere are prospering. And, you know, most of the illegal immigration was because people were seeking economic benefits from it. So if they're prospering, that's lesser and there's less of an incentive. I think overall, it's U.S. dominance of the Western Hemisphere. China needs to, you know, take a step back on, and I think they are in many areas. And certainly what they've seen, they probably don't want to, you know, have any sort of direct confrontation. But I think it is such an important point that it's in many respects been ignored, meaning the Western Hemisphere, by the United States. It hasn't been a high enough priority, or certainly during the last administration. And if we elevate that again, we all benefit.
Yeah, so many of those precursor chemicals for fentanyl come from China. Former Acting I.C.E. Director Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.